thing at 4:05. On a question by Advocate Mashaba yesterday, you said that you wanted to know about a sexual position.
It was still in that context, correct?
Can you explain to us why did you send that message at 4:05 in the morning when she told you that she's busy getting ready for work? Why do you start messaging her on a sexual nature?
I had no reason not to, given that we were in a flirtatious relationship. That there was nothing precluding me, as far as I'm concerned, from doing so. And indeed, it attracted a response.
Yes, only laughing emojis.
Exactly, yes.
That's not a clear response.
Well,
it's rather a coping
mechanism. More importantly, am I wrong? The answer is not at all. You're not wrong. 2 means not at all. So there was a flirtatious discussion once again.
From your side, you
Correct.
are pursuing this. You are persisting on getting an answer from her.
What is the question?
When she does not give you an answer, you say, am I wrong? So you are pressuring her to give you an answer.
No, I'm not pressuring.
Yes, you are, because she's not answering.
No, I'm not pressuring. The word pressuring is of significance. I am not pressuring. I'm continuing with a conversation, and she too engages in that conversation. She doesn't say, no, I don't want to talk about this. In fact, she engages in it by saying, when I'm engaging her, finding out, am I wrong? The answer is no, not at all. You are not wrong.
But this is a pattern in your conversations that we have seen up to this far. You repeatedly messages her, trying to elicit an answer from her because she's not replying to you. She's not responding in a way that you want her to respond. Doesn't that show that you wanted to take control of these messages?
Take control?
Yes, because you are the one initiating it.
Yes. Yes, as a man, it's not a question of taking control. It's a question of initiating based on how you feel, and it attracts the requisite response as far as I'm concerned. And yes, to your question, at all levels. Barring one thing, it's not about pressure. It's about a conversation which is flirtatious, which when I look at it, as I read it now, it doesn't support the proposition that she was an unwilling party.
She testified that you were not respecting her boundaries. Because when she does not answer you, you keep on asking for a reply.
That's not correct.
Advocate Skippers, I think you keep on arguing this point. But we can see ourselves that she herself initiated conversation about 4 o'clock in the morning. We can also see ourselves that there's a laughing emoji from her. We can also see ourselves, etc., etc. You're going to keep on arguing with this witness. I don't know until when, but we can read and see these things ourselves, that she's responding.
Thank you, Chair. On that reply of hers, where she said at 6:25, Ms. Ngapi, can you give us the translation? On 1201?
At 6:25.
Yes, the
haike.
No, the one above it.
The one above it. Ubhale ucime kodwa uyayazi ndibusy. You write and delete, but you know that I'm busy. That's the direct translation.
Yesterday you testified that you took that to mean that she wanted to read it.
I maintain so even today.
Okay.
That is my stance even today. Ubhale ucima kodwa uyayazi ndibusy. In other words, she was disrupted from reading by being busy. She wanted further engagement. She wanted to see what had been written. So that's why I say it's not a rebuff.
But that could also mean anything else, that maybe she wanted to take a screenshot of it.
A screenshot of what?
Of the message before you deleted it.
I don't know that. That is not the impression that I gained. Anyway, if we are going to be speculating about things, so be it. But I am going to simply say, as I testify here, I want to give responses that are going to help the tribunal arrive at a just conclusion on the issues at hand. From what appears here, I believe she was engaging in these chats. There was nothing about unwillingness.
Then if we,
The respondents, rather complainant's evidence on this issue is, as I recorded it, you write and delete, but you know I'm busy. Why did you write that? Because I saw there are 2 messages he had sent, which he deleted without me seeing them.
Yeah.
That was the evidence.
yes.
Are you implying that she didn't want to read those messages?
No, that's not what I'm implying. That could not be, that could not have been the only reason. There could have been other reasons as well. It's not that,
What is the basis for other reasons? Speculation, as the witness says.
that's why I'm moving off that point, Chair. There were no further messages during the working hours, except for the emojis. All right, let's go through it. There was messages at 6:25, 6:26, and 6:28. But during the working hours, there were no messages.
Yes, from what I'm seeing here. Perhaps also, Advocate Skeppers, we need to go to page 17 of the consolidated bundle, so that when we talk about the 18th of June, we also see what the complainant said under oath. This is what she said under oath. I'm saying this purely because you have got a version that you are putting to me. On 18 June 2021, he asked me to finish what we were talking about and asked if I was wrong. I said no. That's a complete distortion, or put it this way, it is a far cry from what we are reading from this. So this is said under oath, the very same witness whose evidence in chief you were leading, which is contrary to what is contained here. Now, I am approaching this with great trepidation because it's got nothing to do, I'm not being personal. All I'm saying is there are 2 mutually destructive versions on an issue that we are debating. That's all I'm saying. Under oath, she says this. When she lays the complaint, she would have the JCC believe that on 18 June, he asked me to finish what we were talking about and asked if I was wrong. I said no. Then we go to the conversations. They are a far cry from that. So both in her evidence, which was under oath, and here, they are mutually destructive versions.
Now, at 18:09, you then replied again to a status of hers.
At
18:09 at 1202.
1809, yes, I see that. I expressed appreciation for what I saw on her status picture.
She did not reply to that.
Yes, she didn't reply. It's quite clear and blatant from what we are seeing.
Now, if we go to the next day, the 20th of June, 2021.
Yes.
That was Father's Day, and she started by greeting you to say Happy Father's Day, Jola.
Yes, but before we get there, at pages 17 and 18 of the complaint that served before the JCC, a recommendation was made, the matter served before the JSC, hence we are here today. Advocate Skeepers, I would like you to consider that paragraph 14 gives a totally different picture. It shies away from the lengthy discussions that we engaged in. Because firstly, it starts off as I did read, and I'm not going to repeat. The impression is created that I was asking about something in respect of what it is that was wrong. He asked me if we had finished what we were talking about and then asked whether I was wrong. I said no. I quote now the last section of paragraph 14. It's a very, very short paragraph. I asked why does he keep on sending me stuff and delete before I could even read, because told him earlier that I was busy. He said he did not want to distract. Uploaded on WhatsApp, status picture of me wearing black skirt and so on, and a touch of a newspaper show. He said, whoa. So her events of 18 are as short as that. Her events, or put it this way, the events of 18 are much longer than that. So the complaint tells us one thing, the testimony says something else. I don't want to take it any further than that. Thank you, Chair.
I'm a bit lost, but proceed, Advocate Skeepers.
Thank you, Chair. On that greeting that she sent to you that morning, Happy Father's Day, Jola,
Yes,
she testified that she extended the same courtesy to other male colleagues, including judges. So she did not only send it to you.
I don't know. I know about me. And may I add, for the previous years prior to 2021, she had never sent me Happy Father's Day. Only upon this flirtatious relationship coming into existence did I get this with an endearment called by my clan name.
You say that calling you by your clan name is a sign of endearment, but
Correct.
it can also be a sign of respect, isn't it?
It can also be a sign of respect.
Yes.
In any event, it is a sign of endearment, whether it is because you respect somebody. Once you call them by their clan name in my culture, it is endearment.
Or
Whether
respect.
it is in the context of respect or what. And there's no time when I believed that the complainant had no respect for me.
She had respect for you.
I believe so.
Though you then also testified that in the first conversation when she said earn it, this prompted you to say that she was inviting you. Now,
Come again, ma'am.
Say again?
Sorry, I didn't pick that up.
You said that in the initial conversation, when she said earn it, you took that as an invitation.
Correct.
Now, if we look at all the conversations after that initial conversation,
Yes.
isn't it clear that the way she interacted with you was not inviting? She was replying to you, responding to you.
She initiated a chat from time to time. In broad terms, that's my answer. But going back to where we are, 20 June, I think the starting point is that this recordal of Happy Father's Day, Jola, there's even no reference to that in the complaint itself.
Now, we agree there's a lot of conversations not in the complaint. That is before the tribunal, we know that.
Yes, I'm just mentioning this, that this, which I regard as an endearment or somebody initiating a chat that brings about warmth within me because I'm called by my clan name, does not form part of the complaint for a reason that I can't advance. But what I see is that it is here in the conversation. This is at page 18 of the document. On 20 June, commented on a video, nothing about Happy Father's Day.
That is correct.
Yes, I'm just saying there's an incongruity there.
Then you thanked her for that?
Yes, I did.
And then there was a few conversations about an order that was granted. And I think you said yesterday it was in Grahamstown. And then at 6:22, you then
Are you
said,
talking about 0607? You saw the order granted on
Yes.
that day? Yes,
Yes.
yes, I see that. I'm with you now,
okay.
Counsel.
And then at 6:22, you said changing the topic slightly.
Correct.
What did you mean by that?
I mean changing the topic slightly, moving away from third force and other things.
What did you want to what did you want to change the topic to?
Regrettably, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll tell you why I don't know. It's because the next conversation is at 22:23.
Yes. So there was
something might have distracted me.
Yeah, so there was no conversations further that day.
As far as I'm concerned, none.
Yes. But she also did not communicate with you.
Correct. It's blatant from here.
Yeah. So again, seeing that you can read the room, didn't that show you that she did not want to further engage with you that day?
No, I disagree.
And then at 22:23, you again initiated conversation by replying to a status that she uploaded.
At 22, yes, correct.
And do you accept that the emoji that you wrote there can be interpreted as a sexual tone, carrying a sexual tone?
Not in the context of somebody, as I believe, who was sitting in a restaurant and I evinced or I showed an appetite on the basis that they were eating in a restaurant, not in that context.
Can I take you to
If I'm correct that it is the spot where something is said about, because I see that at paragraph 15, page 18, on 20 June, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister's kids at Spare, and he sent me an emoji, tongue sticking out. So context is important. This has to do with appetite in the context of people eating.
on the transcripts 21 January 2025 at page 107, lines 5 to 11. Advocate Sikakani SC said the following: Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ms. Mengo. You say on the 20th, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister's kids at Spur, and he sent me an emoji, the tongue sticking out. Ms. Mengo, yes. Advocate Sikakane SC, thank you. Would I be right that the understanding of tongue sticking out is still a bit salacious?
Not in this context.
But
Certainly
that was what was put to the complainant.
by Advocate Skakan.
Yes.
Ma'am, clearly, it must have been wrong. Clearly. I mean, she says on 20 June, he commented on the video where I was sitting with my sister's kids at Spare, and he sent me an emoji of tongue sticking out. This is what the complainant says under oath. The point I'm making is that what was put, the way it was put, is nothing to go by, given that it's common cause between the complainant and I that she was in a restaurant and I expressed myself the way I did. So when I say that is clearly wrong, I am simply saying it's clearly a mistake. I don't believe it's opposite for you, with due respect, counsel, to capitalize on that, because this is a res ipsa loquitur type of a situation. The facts speak for themselves. When somebody is eating on the other side and they show that, and you've got this tongue sticking out, we should know logically what it means.
You then also testified that you wanted to go back to the previous day conversation, and we can see that at 22:23 you said we had not finished our conversation.
Yes, the other day, correct?
So you wanted to go back again.
Correct.
Why?
This question is persisted in. I'm going to answer it once again. I am persisting because I was engaging in flirtatious chats with the complainant, and it was a continuous thing. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that And I'm not trying to discourage you, ma'am. It's now clear that the approach is about you saying what she said. Insofar as it differs with mine, my response will remain the same.
Unfortunately, we have to go through this exercise.
I don't say we shouldn't.
Then if we look at her reply,
Yes.
it's emojis, and according to what I understand, there's no translation for that word written there at 2224, Ms. Ngapi.
Sorry, where?
At
Where?
1204 at 2224, the second 2224.
There are two 2224s.
Actually, the third one. Andi Sakong, that word.
Yes, and
And
Sakonqeni.
Yes.
it's a click.
Yeah. So,
With your permission, Chair, this particular word requires more of an interpretation than a direct translation. And this has to do with one more in the line of when you don't want to get too familiar with somebody. And I hope the English language is doing me justice, because I literally understand it as I'm trying to put it in words form, but it's got more to do with, I don't want to get too familiar with you, respectfully.
that was the translation we got the previous time as well. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, does that not show you that she does not want to get familiar with you?
No. I have previously said those emojis starting starting with 2224, there are 3 emojis of monkey closing eyes and 4 rolling with laughter emojis. I expressed myself in relation to that way back in my answering affidavit. And Isakonqeni, I did mention that as far as I'm concerned, it was a form of ukumutsa. And the issue of ukumutsa was interpreted by the interpreter. I still cling to that.
Well, that is not the views from the complainant. She testified when I asked her what she meant here. She said, I wanted to tell him I do not want to engage in conversation. We started.
That is not what that conveys. The issue is whether she conveyed that to me. She did not. She did not rebuff me. She instead went on to say, I am cute, within the same context.
She said you are cute because you sent her a picture of yourself without her asking for a picture. You did send her a picture of yourself.
Yes.
Why?
Why not? I mean, it's very simple. I was prepared to share pictures with her. She had previously done that with me. At least about 2 pictures we know from this interaction. She then said, I am cute. She could have kept mum. But she didn't. Instead, she complimented me as handsome.
Yes, you said yesterday also that cute means handsome, and nature says she fancies you. That's what you testified yesterday.
Correct.
The complainant never said you're handsome.
When she says cute, she means I am handsome.
Cute and handsome does not have the same meaning, does it?
I think this is becoming a terminological issue now. I've
Are
expressed
we going
myself.
to engage into a hair-splitting exercise, or are we getting substantive evidence?
Thank you, Chair. The complainant testified when asked about that. She said, you did look nice in the photo, and that
Yes.
is why she said that.
Yes.
That does not show ulterior motives, does it?
Ulterior motive.
Yeah, that she was flirting with you. She was showing what she saw.
And
She was
repeated,
honest.
within the twinkling of an eye, she repeated, cute Londo. I also did not respond, but she persisted. But
then,
I don't understand the point anyway.
Then she said, you make me shy.
Yes, kukumutsa oko. Interpreter?
Ukumotsa, as we've initially translated it, Chair, it's to be shy towards someone.
No. Thank you. But what I want to say, I have previously stated what I understand to be ukumut. It's a pretense of shyness or modesty intended to be alluring, especially from a female. That was my understanding.
According to the complainant, the way she interacted in her evidence, that is not the way she saw this.
Let's then engage a bit on that. She starts off by saying, I'm cute. You say it doesn't mean handsome. I'm not sure whether that proposition is correct. Be that as it may, I was not asking her whether from this picture you see, am I handsome or not, but she volunteered the information. Then within the twinkling of an eye at 22:27, because I did not respond to that, to use your terminology, she persists that I'm handsome. I can't understand cute to mean anything else.
After she told you that you make her shy, within seconds, as you put it,
Yes.
you sent this graphic sexual video.
I've sent what?
The sexual video, 22:25.
Yes, the video of people who are cuddling, as far as I can see it here. But the point I am making is, yes, she did. She sent me this thing that says Uchut Londo for the second time, in that very same context that you are articulating.
I'm not there yet. You are jumping you don't want to go into this. I'm still at this sexual video. This is not people cuddling. You even said yesterday that it's people becoming intimate.
All right. Now, the context from what you are saying needs me to respond. I was simply saying, cute, when undenza shy, it is ukumutsa, as far as I'm concerned. Even the video of the people who are, as the way I see it, are cuddling, and it's an intimate relationship, the way I see it. It is an intimate encounter. It is sexual in nature. In that context, I am still referred to as cute Londo, because I ask, wena undenza shy, in what way? Then she says, uyazibona ke, laughingly, meaning you see yourself, and then there's something that is deleted. Then boom, I'll be in East London.
Yes, she testified that
Come again.
because she said she saw the way these messages are escalating now. You are now sending her videos. She's trying to tell you that you are making her shy. She testified that she wanted to see you in person so that she can tell you that she does not appreciate these messages.
Well, contextually, she had twice said, I'm handsome. That's the first point I wish to make. There was no point in time when she said, I want to see you because I want to confront you. There's nothing from a reading of that that suggests any form of an intention to rebuff.
When you asked her in what way you are making her shy, she replied to say, do you see yourself? That is now at 1206 at
Yes.
22:26.
Yes, ma'am, laughingly. And I've always expressed myself in relation to that type of emoji within the context of the discussions that we were engaging in.
You say that it is flirtatious.
Come again?
You say it's flirtatious.
It's not flirtatious. It is flirtatious. And that's how I understood it.
Then, after this request to see you in East London,
Yes.
you then ask her. The conversation became very sexual when you asked her if you can be intimate.
What is the question, ma'am?
Why did you send that message after all her previous messages, her trying to indicate to you that she does not want these messages?
The problem I have with your proposition is that as we've been disagreeing, I continue to disagree with you insofar as you make a proposition based on what she said, which I believe is not correct. It is not borne out by the conversations themselves. It was a continuous, flirtatious interaction. Even the one that says, I will be in East London, we can meet physically, we can meet and talk face to face. I never regarded that as a rebuff. I never regarded that as that which she says it was meant to be. That is not what was conveyed to me.
But there was no meeting, was there?
Come again?
There was no meeting, was there?
We never met. Then it indicates clearly that what flirtation is about is playing with words and so on and so forth. We did not meet.
Then after you sent her this, and we are now at 1208.
1208.
Yes. Where you also, you reckon we can be intimate this week?
What is at 2231? You reckon at 1208? Yes, I see it.
She then, at a stage at 2233, at the bottom of that page, she
Yes.
replied with that Bible verse that we have discussed at length already.
Yes,
And you agree, in the Xhosa Bible, that verse starts with the word no.
correct.
There can be no confusion here.
Not at all. Unless when somebody says, go and read Psalm 1 verse 1, if you are used to reading the English text, you then contextualize it. It says, blessed is the one who does not associate himself with evildoers. But she was very, very plain and blatant and explicit about it. In response to my saying, can we meet and be intimate? In that context, she says, let us not meet for that purpose. Let's meet so that we can talk face to face. I repeat, I did not regard that as a rebuff, even or notwithstanding the fact that there is this high, that high must be understood in its context.
As no.
As no specifically to this occasion.
Yes.
Not as no to any and everything. Otherwise, it means everything would have ended there from her side. But what is important is, even though she would have the tribunal believe that she was out to rebuff me and place me somewhere, but that was never conveyed. And we also know from a further reading that she is the caliber of person who could do it. If she can say, we are Ndinyela Dada, to whosoever that she was talking to.
Why did you not accept that no of her as final for that conversation, specifically on that topic that day?
It is because it is fact specific, as you say. It is fact specific. It is a question of saying, hey man, we've been discussing long enough now about positions and everything else. You have also reached out to me, complimenting me as a person who is handsome. And there was something about this thing about I like surprise, for instance, in the background. So this is fact specific. It is not a high that is about everything and anything. It is, do we meet to do this or do we meet to do that? It is high. And let me show you where she explains herself. 1210. No, sijongane, not ncazelana. In other words, let's meet, let's not go the intimate route. That is at 2238. So this high is fact specific. Advocate Skepas, I don't even want to talk about things such as in our culture, when somebody says high, it does not necessarily mean high in all instances. I don't even want to go that route. It is sufficient for me to say this high that we are about now in this debate is fact specific.
I don't understand why you gave this long answer, because I am asking you about this conversation. I'm not talking about others. She had to repeat the Bible verse 4 times.
Let's look at that. Let's deal with that. By the way, it doesn't change my answer. It is fact specific, but let's deal with it. 4 times. The starting point is sendibuza nje at 1208 at 232, Indumiso 1 verse 1, just the first word, Xhosa Bible. I had no Xhosa Bible that I could access at that point when we were chatting. Sendibuza nje, I'm just asking. Just the first word, Xhosa Bible, iya ibeka kakuhle. Ithini, please remind me. And indeed, I was very sincere when I said that. Kanti bendifuna uyiguglishe. And then, as we were talking, I then found that, oh, it's this verse that says, blessed are those who do not associate themselves with evildoers. And indeed, there is my response to that. And then with evildoers, and then I'm engaging myself. Who is an evildoer in the context of this? And then she says, Aibo. In other words, she's surprised that I'm engaging her in that debate. And then I call upon her to explain. When I say Cacisa, she says in Dumiso 1 verse 1, Hai. So it is still within the context that this is fact specific.
Yes, I'm talking about
So
this
whether it's
conversation.
2 times or 3 times or 4 times, the debate is developing between us. It is fact specific. It ends with her saying, explaining herself, sijongane, not ncazelana. It is fact specific. Not on this occasion.
I'm sticking to this conversation. She now, even on top of 1210, the
Yes.
second message, there she typed hi in capital letters, meaning no.
Yes.
So she needed to reinforce the fact that she's not going to be intimate with you.
On that occasion.
I'm talking about that occasion.
Correct? We are together.
But notwithstanding her saying no in capital letters, and there can be no misunderstanding on that. Is that correct?
About what?
That she says no.
That she's saying no specifically to this.
Yes.
Yes. I'm repeating myself. It is fact specific.
I'm getting to that. We are talking about fact specific. I'm only talking about that day.
Sure.
Even after she said no, you continue and you say, but what if we melt? That is not impossible. So you don't accept her no, because
No.
you want to continue with this conversation.
Let's be contextual, ma'am. She explains herself. She says, sijongane, not singazelane. In other words, I would like us to talk and meet face to face. I am saying, let us not go the intimate route. And then it is me then who is saying, what if we melt, which is not impossible?
But that's my point. After
Yes.
she clearly told you, no, we cannot be intimate, a number of times you
Yes.
continue to say, but what if we melt?
No, ma'am. The fact that this high is repeated 4 times according to your thesis doesn't change the fact that this high was fact specific. That's number 1. Number 2, she is saying, let's not do this on this occasion. There is no rebuff, and I accept that we will not do it. But then I'm being cautious, and I say, hey, we could then meet face to face. What if we melt? It is not impossible. The rest is history, for we know that later on, she says at 1212, so ubila kwangoku kuse Eli, she steers it in a sexual direction. So let's look at this conversation in its context.
We are looking at it in its context. She's saying no. Then you continue to say, what if we melt? Then she does not answer you. You say, it's not impossible. And
Yes.
then she replies to you at 12:11
Yes.
at the bottom, it is impossible. How much clearer must she be?
No, I'm not sure, because I think we are both repetitive.
No, we are not.
No, I'm saying we're both repetitive, because I keep on telling you that this no is fact specific. It deals with the question whether we should meet on that day and be intimate or not. She opts to say, no, we are not going to go that route. And then she insists that we should meet. And I'm saying, well, let's be careful, because you will see that she says at 2241, it is impossible. I engage her further. She then says, so ubila kwangoku kuse Eli. That's highly sensual, emanating from my saying, what if we melt? In other words, she too appreciates the fact that if we were to meet, it is possible that we will be steered in that right direction. Then she says, so ubila kwangoku kuse Eli.
Are you already sweating so early?
I had no other understanding than what she was saying, which is sensual.
She replied to the sticker that you sent her of a person sweating.
Yes.
So she's replying to you. It's not her being sensual.
No, that picture is, in my view, neutral.
No, it's not. It's
All
a
right.
person sweating. She's replying to that sticker that you sent it to her. Why would you send a neutral picture
All right.
during a sexual conversation?
We can call it whatever and however, but in her response, she steers it in a sensual direction.
She's not.
She is. Definitely she is. She's saying, so ubila kwangoku kuse eli, and then it develops. Let me develop it. I ask uyabilisa. What does that mean, interpreter?
Do you cause someone to boil? Or
There
to
is-
sweat? Sorry.
Thank you.
Do you cause
There is-
someone to sweat?
The response is, the principle is that ungandibuzi ithini. Don't ask me what that means. And then 1213, 2242, page 1213. Ha, we both know everything, but I'll be amenable. The answer to that is a laughing emoji. And in fact, we were engaging it's a continuous debate. We are engaging one another. It remains flirtatious through and through.
Then you said we are now at 12:13, where you stop now. You
Yes.
took us there.
Yes.
At 22:45, Ms. Ngabi, can we get the interpretation? It was interpreted yesterday to say I was going to give you this one.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's just that there was a spelling error there. Where there's a O, there's supposed to be a P. Bendiza kupale. I was going to give you this.
And the
Where are
complainant,
we?
sorry, at 12:13, 1213, at 22:45. And the complainant replied to that to say rephrase.
Yes.
And then you sent her the peeled banana.
Yes.
Yesterday you said that the peeled banana meant that you wanted to give her something nice.
Correct.
And you also said that you heard for the first time that a peeled banana is a penis, is depicting a penis. You could have
Correct.
showed her anything.
Correct.
You could have even sent her a chocolate emoji.
Correct.
Why didn't you send the chocolate emoji?
I chose to send this one.
In a highly sexual conversation,
Correct.
and you want us to believe that it's not sexual in nature.
Let me explain myself. Where I say I'll be amenable, it is where I say I will be amenable at 2242. So the question is based on, I think it's an hypothetical situation because there's an understanding between the two of us. I'll be amenable. Let's meet. Whether you say you can melt or not melt, I'll be amenable when we meet. But that one says, if we had gone that route, I wish to refer you to 1215 at 2248. Advocate Skeppers, that emoji, the pitch there, together with that other object, they say it's a what?
Eggplant.
Yes, eggplant. That for me signifies sexual intercourse. So I was clear in my mind, okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. So I was very clear in my mind using those things. This one is different. It is a banana. Nice thing. And that is what it is. And also I'm simply saying, it is in the context that I am simply saying, had we taken that other route, this is what I would have given you.
What other route?
Bendiza kupha le, I'm saying I'll be amenable. In other words, I'm accepting that, well, let's meet. Let us meet. We will see what happens. We know the principle, we'll have to control ourselves. And then I'm just revisiting it in the context of a more hypothetical situation. I'm simply saying, if we had taken that route, this is what I would have done. And I'm simply saying, you know, this context is about a banana. It's a delicacy, a romantic delicacy that one can share with somebody.
A banana.
Yeah. Yes.
And you also testified yesterday that you're not an expert on emojis, and therefore you did not know that this means, this has a sexual connotation.
Within this context, it could have a sexual connotation, I agree.
Yes.
But I'm talking about my understanding of what I was conveying to her. So I'm not running away from the fact that these talks were sensual, these talks were sexual. That is indeed the position. I'm saying we had reached a point where we said, well, we will be amenable. But I'm saying, well, hypothetically, if we had gone down that route, I would have given you this.
I wanted to give you this, and you wanted to be intimate with her. So
Yes.
you wanted to have sex with her. That's what you wanted to convey with this message.
I wanted to have sex.
Yes.
No, but
because
we
you
had
wanted to be intimate with her.
No, we had agreed we would not go that route. I'm saying at 1215, it's very clear. Okay, we may meet and just converse without going the intimate route. This is me talking, and I'm using those signs. I'm not using now a banana together with another object. I am just talking sensually, sexually. I was going to have this banana with you. And I grew up in a scenario where I see two people, and I'm talking about myself, sharing a banana. It looks quite juicy to see those people biting and sharing and doing all that. But what is very plain, it is that the discussion is sensual.
Yes. And then she does not reply to you because she's laughing, and she testified that she didn't know how to respond to you. But after that laughing emojis of her, you prompted her to say, and you? What did you mean by that?
What would you give me?
Yes.
In other words, what would you come with if we were to interact in that fashion within that context? Yes, indeed. Also, I disagree with the proposition that those four laughing, rolling with laughter emojis signify a rebuff. They don't.
And then she sent you this sticker with honorable member, don't do that. And she testified that she meant by that he must stop what he is doing. That's what she wanted to convey to you.
Yes, but it did not. That is not what it conveyed. That is why at 2247, I wanted her to explain herself. Those memes, I think we all know, memes basically encapsulate jokes. These two that I see here, honorable member, don't do that. Those are parliamentary, that's a parliamentary language. We know what sometimes happens in parliament. And it's a meme, that's what it is. But beyond that, I called upon her to explain herself because I said, I don't understand you. Followed by something like, Ufuna nje ubuhlobo? Do you want mere friendship? Because I got to that point where I could not understand really. So I engaged her further. Then
before you rush past this, I want to interrogate this.
Thank you.
Why would she say, honorable member, don't do that, if she didn't understand you, that you wanted to give her sex?
I wanted to give her sex.
Yes, because I wanted to give you this one, giving the banana. And then after that, you say, at 22:48, at 1214.
Yes.
And the translation we had is, do you just want friendship?
Yes.
So that clearly shows that the previous conversation was still sexual. Because now you say, so do you only want friendship? When she said, honorable member, don't do that.
When she says, honorable member, don't do that, followed by me calling upon herself to explain herself, I meant exactly that. And I have not said these things about banana, whether you look at it from the perspective that it's a delicacy with two people sharing, it remains flirtatious. In the context that even though there was understanding that would be amenable and that the principle is about her saying, so ubila kangoku, and Are you now sweating already? I ask, uyabilisa. Then she says, ungandibuzi thini loo nto. That is flirtatious, through and through, even from her side.
How can you say it's flirtatious if she already wrote in capital letters no? How can that be flirtatious from her side?
We are going to repeat this maybe for the 6th or 7th time. I said, she was saying no. Let us not go the intimate sexual route when we meet, because she's the one who came up with the notion that we should meet. I then gleaned,
I think the record will show that the no was to any proposal that let us have sex when we meet.
yes,
To that, there is a no. But that no is specifically to say we are not going to have sex when we meet. The respondent agrees that. Is that you
yes,
accept that?
that is my point of departure. I'm saying this no is fact specific.
Yes.
No, let us not be intimate on this occasion.
And your version is that no is limited to that, to the issue of having sexual intercourse when we meet.
On that occasion,
On
yes.
that occasion.
Correct. That is what I term fact specific.
Correct. And I hope we don't go back to that.
Correct.
When she clearly did not reply to you, you testified yesterday that you insisted on an answer, and that shows your persistence, because in your own words, you said, I insisted an answer.
What is the point being made, ma'am? I don't follow the question.
You insist on her giving answers when she clearly does not want to give answers.
I did not understand it the way you are postulating it.
She also suggested to meet in an office. That's clearly not a private setting. Is that correct?
Yes. There's a context even to that. We can deal with it.
This is clearly not flirtatious. If we look at her answer she gave you on all your questions regarding this meeting, because she said she wants to meet in an office, not in a private setting.
I disagree with you in the manner in which you are postulating the scenario. Let me then proceed to show you why I say that. So at page 1216, she had then said, I'm a lady of action. I don't just talk. I engaged her in relation to that. Then she says, finish. Then I say, but if ucho masibonane ngoko, masibone ngoko. Well, if you say that, let's meet then. I had also sent a question that, well, you know what, it is risky. If we meet, we may lose control of ourselves. And then there's a question, any privacy or sawuncokola officini? Let's look at the answers to all those questions. Ufike laphi? Where is your arrival point? My house. Apart from the fact that she said, Ndinezenzo kuphela, I am a person of action only. And then I asked, Uyenza qha kubonwe ngoko, do you act and people see whatever will eventuate then? Then she says, finish. So because these messages tend to cross one another at some point, because there's 2252 when she says finish, then we say, but if ucho masibone ngoko, fike laphi, and so on. Or sawuncokolela e-ofisini, fike laphi, my house. Any privacy? No. Or sawuncokolela e-ofisini, me asking, she says it's better. And that's it. So I don't understand the postulation or the proposition. I was amenable to meeting her in the office or in my office.
I don't understand why you had to give this long answer. I was just saying that she wanted to meet you in an office, not a private setting.
To what end? Because the reason why I'm trying to explain myself, it is because you are insistent that she was rebuffing And I'm saying that theme is incorrect.
Then again, at 12:18, after this conversation of where she will be, the office, and where you will meet,
Yes,
you then take the conversation back again. What if we melt?
yes, I did.
Why did you continue if she already said no?
No, because I'm being cautious. I'm a human being.
And she,
I'm talking to
Yeah,
somebody
again.
that I was fancying, and I'm saying, I'm being cautious.
but she's saying no. And again, at 22:55, at 12:18, that translation, Ms. Ngapi, was that we got is no, you will control yourself. Is that correct?
The translation once more, advocate, the HAAAY is not a complete isiXhosa word for no in English translation. So it still remains an exclamation. And then uzazbamba, you will hold yourself or you will control yourself.
What is the question?
She told you you will control yourself, meaning that she is still saying no. She's rebuffing
I did not understand it that way. You may continue saying she was rebuffing me. I say you are incorrect. That is not consistent with this conversation, the way we see it. She says, well, when I ask, "Uyakwazi uzibamba wena, can you restrain yourself?" She says, "Ndiyakwazi." And then I say, well, let me oblige in that event at 22:57. So it was a continuous discussion, not outside the realm of flirtation, but yes, it starts being fact specific. It starts with me as a human being being cautious.
And she
So
keeps,
there's nowhere, according to me, where a rebuff is communicated to me.
what more should she have done to tell you that she's not interested?
Interested in what?
In you.
Are you then moving?
Isn't it clear from these messages that she's not interested in having a sexual relationship with you?
Your proposition is not correct. We have moved away from my answer, which is no is fact specific. But the proposition that you are advancing now seems to go back there. I don't understand why, Ms. Skippers.
And I thought that we had left that point.
Correct, Chairperson.
And then after you indicated to her that let me oblige, she ended the conversation with a very clear bye, a very short word bye. At 1220,
Yes,
at 22:58,
correct.
meaning she did not want to continue with the conversation.
That was not my understanding.
If someone says bye, does that not mean they don't want to talk anymore?
Is that how you do it? I don't do it that way. Bye is as sweet as it is. It is contrary to where somebody simply vanishes, or she stops you, or she blocks you. Bye is still within the context of flirtation. Bye is bye.
How can you see bye as flirtation?
No, I'm just saying within the context, it is not a rebuff. Because you want a rebuff. You are looking for a rebuff. With due respect, there is none.
And then after she said bye, trying to end the conversation, you continue messaging her.
Correct.
And that is at night at almost 11 o'clock, 22:59.
Correct.
And what did you send her that got this reply of her of shock? Jesu.
What I can start off by saying, I know what it is. It was not. I can only speculate and read what is happening here. I am sure I did. Well, I'm starting with that because I know where we are going. This is 22:58. There's a suggestion about K8. I am saying I did not send K8 to her or anything that resembles K8. That is the starting point. Secondly, she says Jesu. And then I'm saying, why put it this way? It looks delicious. And I'm saying, based on what I'm seeing here, I could have sent something similar to what I previously sent. The reason why I'm talking in this fashion, I do not want to say I remember distinctly what I sent. Within the context of this flirtation, I could have sent something like I previously sent.
But if we look
But
at
I know what I did not send.
But if we look at the probabilities, your reply to one of her, actually to one of your own messages that was deleted, yours please, you sent the big eyes emoji.
Before we proceed, I would need from you to tell me, according to her version, what did I send to her and when and what time?
She indicated that you sent her a picture of a private part.
K8.
You sent her more than one. She cannot recall when what was sent. She did receive a picture of a private part.
I did not send a private part.
But if we look at the probabilities, you then ask her, yours please. What were you referring
I'm going to
to?
deal with yours, please, but I wanted to understand you fully. We have got a situation where we are conversing at 22:58. We've got a situation where the suggestion is made that I sent something, she screen grabbed it. It is a private part. And then it is explained, I did not send it. That is the starting point. So I know I did not do it. I did not have to do it. I did not send a private part. I did not have to do it. At least that much I know. Beyond that, I'm going to speculate as much as I can. When I say why put it this way, it looks delicious, it is because of the fact that it could have been a picture of a couple that was engaging, cuddling, or a sensual picture, but not my private part.
Any other private part?
None. I didn't have to do that.
But why did you ask yours please? What did you mean by yours please?
Yours, please, is send your picture of what you would. You see, because she says yours, please.
No,
Sorry,
you
I
say yours,
yes.
please.
I say yours, please. All I can say is I have sent something that I look at as being juicy, which is, as I believe, it is something that I have explained that I could have sent. I've got to speculate. But what I know is I did not send what you keep saying I sent. That is the starting point. So when I say yours, please, feel free to send me your picture of whatever within the context of the conversation.
But her reply, Jesu, even you said, why put it like that? That means she didn't like what you sent her.
Does not necessarily mean that.
Why did you then say, why put it like that?
Well, I've seen people say OMG, not because, and it means oh my God, not because they don't like something. It just means it's an exclamation.
Then she tried to steer this conversation away from this sexual tone by saying, let me iron.
I see that at
Or am
23:05.
ironing, sorry.
Yes, I see that at 23:05. It is preceded at 23:05, or it crossed with something else where it revisits, and I think it's a cut and paste type of a thing. Or sawuncokolele ofisini, she's the one who elicits that. Then if it must just be a friendly chat, I'll oblige, which is also what I said. I can't, you see, it says JP or sawuncokolele ofisini, which means she's responding to something that was
No, it's
discussed.
you responding. It's your chat.
No, ma'am.
It is your chat. It's on the left-hand side.
No.
Are you on 1221?
No.
On which page are you?
I'm at 1221.
Yes.
I am saying there, yes, you are correct, there's no ticks from her, but I am saying, or sawuncokolela ofisini, it's me revisiting what I had initially said, and I was reminding her, if it must just be a friendly chat, I'll oblige in relation to the meeting that was proposed to be in office.
Opening the door for her to reconsider.
If it
to
must
go
just
the
be,
intimate route.
if it must just be friendly chat, I'll oblige.
So
This
you
is-
wanted to revisit that to later rethink it.
Well, she said we can meet in the office, and I'm saying, well, if it is going to be just a friendly chat, I will oblige.
And then she said, I'm ironing. So she clearly did not want to continue with this conversation.
I did not understand it the way you do.
In fact, you are correct, because now you say, let me see, please.
Yes.
Why?
No, because it is a follow-up to your picture, please.
So you still wanted a picture
Correct?
of?
Something that could resemble what I believe I sent to her.
Then you persisted. She's not continuing with the conversation. You keep on asking, I will wait.
Yes,
Sending the eyes,
yes,
hands, please
Yes.
reciprocate. But
Yes.
she's not answering you.
correct?
Clearly, she did not want to converse with you further.
That is not how I understood it. She ends up by saying, Libele uphuma ku WhatsApp, and then I say, what do you mean? I don't understand you. She then says something that softens my heart. Ulale kamnandi uphuphe. Sleep well and dream.
Chair, I just want to get an indication until what time we are going to continue today.
10 o'clock.
Can we then maybe have a comfort break? Now I see it's 3 o'clock now. If we can have a comfort break.
We're back 1:15, if you want the break.
Yes, please.